every single day. While you are watching this video, Africa loses $246 million US, not to natural disasters, not to wars, but to theft, systematic, calculated, invisible theft that makes the biggest bank heist in history looks like pocket change. By the end of this year, $90 billion US would have vanished from our continent. Gone, not stolen by armed robbers, not stolen by hackers, but by men in $1,000 suits, sitting in glass stores, moving numbers on computer screens, legally robbing an entire continent blind. But here is what they don't want you to know. When Africa's richest man built the world's largest oil refinery, something strange happened. Suddenly, mysterious offshore traders started crashing prices. Coincidence? We will get to that in a moment. But first, let me show you the most sophisticated robbery in human history. And unlike the movies, the criminals aren't wearing masks, they are wearing suits. There is an Ethiopian proverb that says, when the roots of a tree begin to decay, it spreads to the branches. Today, we are examining how the roots of Africa's economy are being systematically poisoned. That's more than the entire GDP of 85% of African countries. Ghana's entire economy, $76 billion. Kenya's, $96 billion. We are talking about losing an entire nation's worth of wealth every single year. According to the UN Conference on Trade and Development, this isn't new. We have been hemorrhaging money like this since the 1980s. From 1980 to 2018 alone, Sub-Saharan Africa lost $1.3 trillion. That's trillion with a T. To put this in context, that's enough money to build 65 Dangote refineries or provide clean water for every African for the next 200 years. But who is taking our money and how are they doing it without anyone noticing? The thieves have three main weapons, and the first one is hiding right inside the companies operating on our continent. Now let me show you how it works. A mining company in Zambia extracts copper worth $100 per ton, but they sell it to their sister company in Switzerland for just $20 per ton. On paper, the Zambian operation makes no profit, so they pay almost no taxes. The Swiss company then sells that same copper at full market price and keeps the profit in tax heaven. Zambia then loses 80% of the value of its own resources. Sounds familiar? This is happening right now in Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, the DRC. Everywhere we have valuable resources. But that's just weapon number one. The second is even more sinister, and it involves something called trade misinvoicing. Companies either over-invoice imports claiming they pay more than they actually did, or they under-invoice exports claiming they receive less than they actually got. The difference? It disappears in offshore accounts. Now, surely you might be thinking our government should know about this. That brings us to weapon number 3, and this is where it gets personal. Some of our leaders are in on it. You remember Isabel dos Santos, daughter of the former president of Angola? She allegedly siphoned over $2 billion from the state oil company. That's money that should have built hospitals, schools, roads. But here is what really keeps me up at night. While our leaders get rich, More than 400 million Africans survive on less than $1.25 a day. The money being stored could eliminate poverty in Africa completely. In 2023, something unprecedented happened. Africa's richest man completed the world's largest oil refinery right here in Africa, precisely Nigeria and Lagos. 650,000 barrels per day, enough to make Nigeria completely self-sufficient in fuel and still have 40% left for export to other African countries. For the first time in decades, an African country could finally refine its own oil instead of exporting crude and buying that expensive petrol. We were about to keep that value on the continent. But then something interesting happened. There is this thing called the Lome floating market, a unique African phenomenon. International traders store 2 million tons of petroleum products on ships off the coast of Togo. They have been selling overpriced fuel to West Africa for years, simply because we had no choice. But when the Dangote Refinery started production, these same traders suddenly crashed their prices to undercut the Dangote Refinery. Aliko Dangote himself said, and I quote, "Make no mistake, those profiting from this system will do all they can to stop other refineries from emerging." Now, you think about that. The moment Africa tries to add value to its own natural resources, external forces sabotage it. This is not competition. This is economic warfare. Now, you might wonder why European and American companies can get away with this. The answer is simple. The system was designed this way. Colonial powers built trade systems to extract raw materials from Africa and sell us back finished products. What we are seeing today, it's the same system, just more sophisticated. The OECD estimates we lose $60 billion annually just to tax avoidance. The African Development Bank says it's closer to $89 billion when you include all illicit financial flows. But here is the question I want to consider. What if we could stop just half of this theft? $45 billion. That's enough to provide clean water to 1 billion people, or build infrastructure connecting every African capital, or create millions of manufacturing jobs. So what's the solution, and why aren't we implementing it already? The good news is that Africa is starting to fight back, and it's happening faster than you think. The African Continental Free Trade Area isn't just about trade, it's about harmonizing our tax systems so multinationals can play countries against each other. South Africa's revenue service has already recovered 1.7 billion euros using new tax transparency tools. Nigeria is demanding that oil companies sell crude to local refineries first. But the real game changer? Digital technology. Countries like Ghana and Rwanda are using blockchain to track resource exports in real time. No more mysterious disappearing shipments. You remember that Ethiopian proverb I told you earlier about branches and roots? Well, when we strengthen our economic roots through local refining, coordinated tax policies, and transparent institutions, prosperity spreads to every branch of our society. But this isn't just about government action. It's about all of us understanding how the game is played. So here is what I need you to do. First, share this video, not because I want views, but because most Africans don't know this is happening. And remember, knowledge is power. And right now, ignorance is costing us $90 billion each year. Second, support African businesses that add value to our resources. every time that you choose an African product over an imported one, you are keeping value on the continent. Ask them about transfer pricing laws. Ask them about beneficial ownership registries. Ask them why we are still exporting raw materials instead of finished products. And if you want to see how Africa is fighting back through innovation and local solutions, check my video on what Africa just invented in 2025 will change the world forever. Because while they're stealing from us, we are also building the future. The truth is, Africa isn't poor. We are being robbed. But every time we build a Dangote refinery, every time we create digital payment systems, every time we harmonize our policies, we are taking back control of our economic destiny. So the question isn't whether we can stop the $90 billion thefts. The real question is, are we ready to do what it takes? Let me know in the comment section what you think Africa should do first. And don't forget to subscribe to the Strategic Lens for more insights that go beyond the headlines. I'm Aliko Dangote. See you in my next investigation.